All right. Well, I guess it all depends how much time we got to
Okay.
talk about these guys, right? Because like I would say Jalen Williams from Santa Clara is a guy that I'm like just through the moon for. Like this dude is one of my favorite guys to watch. Um, he's a little under the radar because he played at Santa Clara. His games were on when us on the East Coast, like we're asleep by the time he's playing.
Mhm.
But this is a kid. He's so damn smooth, man. Like he's so smooth with it. He reminds me a lot of like Kevin Porter Jr. if he, had his head on a little bit more straight. He's got some shades of like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like he's one of those 6'5" wings. He measured at 7'2" 2.5 wingspan at the combine.
7'2.5".
7'2.5", measured with some of the best athleticism tests at the combine. And this is a guy who doesn't have to use his athleticism because he hit a late growth spurt. He was 5'10" in high school, and he had like the same size shoes that he's got now. And he just learned how to be crafty with the ball, under the rim finishes, all the little crafty stuff that guys who don't have the bounce, but now he's got the athleticism, he's got the size, he's got the length, he could shoot it, 40% 3-point shooter. Look, I'm not trying to say that he's a generational passer, but in this specific draft where there aren't a ton of really good passers, he's probably one of the 3 best passers in the draft. Operates out of the pick and roll like a 5-year NBA veteran, comes off the screen tight, gets guys on his hip, plays with pace, surveys the floor. I mean, just really, really impressive stuff. And I think he's got room to grow a little bit as he plays with better players. But NBA game, like as soon as you watch him, you're like, this dude is an NBA player. Put Chet Holmgren on his ass. Like crossed him up to the point that like he just didn't even break his ankles. It was like he was on roller skates and he didn't know how to roller skate. Just fell right on his ass. This kid is tough. He's tough, man, and he's a little under the radar, but he's gonna be a really good NBA pro.
Ooh, I love a good sleeper pick. I love a good sleeper pick. Any weaknesses on his game?
Honestly, he doesn't have a ton of weaknesses right now. Junior, maybe you could say defensively he's not as aggressive as you want with that length, but I think if you one of the things about college defense is sometimes like we're not privy to the schemes and stuff. And I think like if you go watch the film session with Schmitz, Schmitz like will ask him about a defensive play here and there, and he's like, oh yeah, I see what you're saying, but we were supposed to be shading the guy to this side, and the coach told us to go under on this, and that's why. So like, he's definitely not like the best defender in the draft. And when you see 7'3" wingspan, you want this guy to be locked down. But I think he's versatile enough that he can guard 1 through 4. He's slithery around screens. I like him as a defender, but I do think that, there is room for him to improve on that end. And I think that can come with NBA coaching, but offensively, it's hard to find weaknesses or holes in his games. It might not have like the same, like Jaden Ivey's athleticism, where it's just like so notable, such like top-notch superstar stuff. Maybe he's not the, projected shooter that Jabari Smith is, but he's just like very good pretty much everywhere offensively.
Okay, so defensively, what you're saying is it's one of those guys where it's more technique, not desire type of situation with him.
Yeah. And I'm not even trying to say he's a bad defender because I don't think he's a poor defender. It's just like he's not a guy that you would mention as one of the top defenders in this class. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think it's a weakness. I just don't think it's a strength. So like, if he's going to get better anywhere, like if he turned himself into a legitimate, like 2-way guy where you mention that defense is one of the first things, you're talking about like a really, really high level player. But I think his offensive game, and especially in the context of playing with the Knicks, because I think that he solves the point guard problem a little bit because he can handle the ball. He can pass the rock. Again, I think he's one of the best passers in this draft. I clipped up, if you just search my name on Twitter and then search Jalen Williams, I clipped up probably one of the most impressive passes you'll see from any draft prospect in any year. Left-handed live dribble, through 3 defenders, wrap around all the way back out to the wing, like on the money. But in the context of the Knicks, like he could play alongside RJ and IQ, sliding right in between them, allowing each one of those guys to split ball handling duties. And it all makes sense when each guy has the ball in their hands. So like he's going to be able to affect the game when he doesn't have it, when RJ's or IQ has the ball in their hands. But if he's doing that, he can make plays and, quickly can run off the floppy stuff. And, I think that he's a seamless fit, and he's a guy who just has a lot of untapped potential, who's only going to get better when he plays with NBA talent.
Got you. So this is more of like he's a junior, so he's going under the radar because he's older type of situation.
He played at Santa Clara.
Right.
The COVID year was weird for them. It was like they didn't have their own practice court. Like it was one of those situations where it was just like it's hard for that team to really like to analyze that sophomore season.
Got you.
And then this year he just came and he was a beast. He was a beast this year.
All right, cool. I'm definitely gonna be looking for those clips later. Anything to add to that, guys?
I mean, for me, he definitely was under the radar for me because I definitely didn't get to catch any Santa Clara games this season. So, anything I saw of him was through clips, but from clips, he definitely seems like that guy who can be a two-way player. And, basically what Corey said, like, he looked like a good player to me. So I was like, hey, I don't know where he's going to fall in the draft, but if the Knicks do pick him up, it's not a player where I'd be like, why, the Knicks picked him. Like, I would be on board if the Knicks were to select him.
Got you.
To me, this last year's draft, I said was like a gold rush. You can put your pan in the river and you can pull up nuggets no matter where you was drafted. But this year is more like it's more like if me and my wife went shopping at Goodwill,
Goodwill.
You could find some value. You just gotta look for it a little harder. You could find some value. You just gotta look. And to me, Jalen Williams is one of 2 guys to me that I see in that late first, probably early second, that I would think would be really good for the Knicks. The other one being Dalen Terry. I like both of those guys. And the reason and Williams did not get on my radar until the combine. When he was the way he was playing at the combine. And again, to have the gonads to actually go out there and play and then to play well, that impressed me. And then I went back and looked at him some more. And yeah, I think he's going to be a solid NBA player. I'm not sure how good he's going to be, but we'll see. I mean, in terms of star power, but he's definitely got enough tools to become an NBA player. And again, he's to me one of the 2 real sleepers I see in the bottom of this draft.
Got you. All right. So this may be a trade down candidate, if anything. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You feeling that way? So it might be a trade down candidate or trade up from 42 or.
I probably would prefer trading up from 42 rather than trading down from 11.
Yeah, trading up from 42. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Yeah. Him and Williams and Terry to me are those 2 type of guys. If you could trade up from 42 and get one of them, I think we could do a good thing there.